Hi there everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to talk about 10 easy ways to ace your essay. Okay, so we will have two essays in your paper one. One is situational, another one is the continuous writing. So let's look at continuous writing today and specifically 10 easy ways to get an A for that paper. Too many students mistakenly believe that content is for more important than editing out grammar, spelling style, and vocabulary errors. They keep on writing until the end of the paper, leaving little time to correct errors that could cause a few more marks. So the first suggestion is allocate enough time for checking for possible spelling errors, grammatical errors, and sentence structure. An essay that is too long may not leave you enough time to edit. Your essay might also run the risk of losing its focus. Conversely, an essay that is too short would not have development points sufficiently to convince the reader of your stand. Spending extra time crafting your introduction. If you have a clear plan, you will know exactly what points you need to make to convince the reader. These points, along with your stand, makes up your thesis statement, and it should be included in the opening statement. Many of you neglect to list your main supporting points in the first paragraph. This leaves the examiner uncertain about how the essay will be developed. There are three elements in an introduction. It needs a hook, a background of the topic that you're going to talk about, and the thesis statement. So how do you craft a hook? By asking a question, or starting off with a quotation, or an antidote, or a startling fact or statistics that the general public do not know, or an imaginative scenario. Okay, as you can look at the slide. So be prepared to start an argument with a hook. As you can see, I've given you some examples of how you could start a quotation, an antidote, a question, interesting fact, or a simile or a metaphor. So take some time, pause the video, look at the examples, and try to read more essays with a hook, and the more you practice, you'll get better at it. Now, here we look at the thesis statement, the third part of your introduction. So this is going to be the blueprint of your writing. A lot of students fail to make a clear thesis statement in the first paragraph. So a thesis statement could be just a background plus your three main topic sentences that you're going to start this argument with. If you could see, the three-part thesis statement is easy because you simply list the three main points of evidence that you're going to produce in your essay. So for standard essay, we have an introduction, 3 points, your valid strong points that you're going to argue about, 1 counter, and a conclusion. So let's look at an example of a thesis statement. Here you could see Singapore is the best country in the world because it offers many great resources such as free healthcare, high quality education, and the best infrastructure. So I have claimed that Singapore is the best country in the world, and to support that, I have written 3 main points. These are the 3 main points that I'm going to argue. Let's say free healthcare. So that would be my first body paragraph, where I'm going to give you examples of how the system works the healthcare system works in Singapore, and then B should be the high quality education. So you're going to talk about that in your second body paragraph, and then best infrastructure. So these are the 3 points that the examiner could look forward in your essay. So thesis statement is very, very important. So please practice on your thesis statement and your hook so you can get a perfect introduction. There's no better way to convince your reader than to fail to give clear signposts early in the paragraph that briefly state what that paragraph is about. So for body paragraph, a topic sentence is a summary sentence of what the whole paragraph is about. It puts your reader in the right frame of mind to read the contents of the rest of the paragraph. So let's look at some examples. So looking at the examples now, you could see how a topic sentence looks like. So I'm not giving away too much in my topic sentence. I'm just introducing my arguments. As you can see, pause the slide and look at the various ways that you can write topic sentences. Like, there are many possible contributing factors to global warming. I'm not telling you what is the actual paragraph is going to be about. I'm going to talk about the factors, so that makes it interesting rather than stating that I'm going to now look at this point. Okay, so you can look at that. Crime in poverty stricken areas occurs as a result of a systematic discrimination. So the topic is crime in poverty-stricken areas, and the controlling idea is systematic discrimination. So systematic discrimination makes the examiner think about an interesting viewpoint that you have, and it also entices the examiner to read about your paragraph. So remember, crafting topic sentences is a good skill that you could learn over time. Plan how you will introduce your counter-argument paragraph, which should appear after all your supporting points have been made. So it is very, very clear that you are changing direction. However, do not appear to disagree with your earlier points. Instead, attribute the opposing views to other people. For example, some say or some believe, and you can describe an actual example of how these opposing beliefs are fallacious, or all the better, how they are not true. So you can pause the slide again and look at how you could start your counter argument sentence. So this is like a topic sentence, but it's different. Topic sentences are used for your arguments. Counter argument is used to show that you are balancing up your argument with an opposing viewpoint. So you could start with some will say, some people might say that, or those on the other side of the issue, it's true that, while it's true that, or admittedly. And you can refute the statement in the same paragraph, saying that that is not the case, while that may be in that case, or that point is true but is unimportant because, or nevertheless my point still stands because. However, that point is not important because. So transition words like but, yet, however, nevertheless, still will be good to use in your counter argument. Now, looking at an example, you could see how you destroy um, your counter argument with solid examples. Like, some may argue that students lack the responsibility to have drinks in class. This, however, is not true. Students drink soda in the cafeteria all the time, and rarely is there a spill. Also, there could be compromise where students only bring in clear liquids. This would eliminate any stains if there was a spill. A final reason that there could be a rule that all drinks had to have twist on or snap on lids. These reasons eliminate the concern of our lack of responsibility. So this is the counter argument. You could see number one, you are giving your counter argument. Number two, you are giving the explanation. Number three, you are rebutting the counter argument in the same paragraph. So conclusion sentence is reiterating the point that these reasons eliminate the concerns of our lack of responsibility. So pause the slide, look at how a counter argument could look like, and then you can practice in your essays. Due to poor time management, many of you do not spend time writing a decent concluding paragraph. A rushed conclusion is usually very evident by its short length. Remember that this is the last thing your examiner reads before deciding your mark. Do not jeopardize your marks. Spend time thinking on what would be the last statement that will give a lasting impression on your essay. You could have a scenario where you could suggest a better world, or the worst case scenario, what if, and a call of action. So these three elements, including reinstating your thesis statement and what you have mentioned in your three body paragraphs, will give you the extra marks that you need for your essay. Now, take some time, pause this video and look at the concluding paragraph. Now, drinks in class could be seen as a positive thing, and there may be many reasons why. The use of beverages would eliminate students asking to leave the class for water fountain, which could cut down on class disruptions. Of course, there would be less people roaming in the halls, and this would be a good for security. Not only this, but it would give the student body a chance to show they are mature enough to handle responsibility. Consider letting students have this privilege to prove they deserve it. So if you could see the last statement, the clinching statement is a call for action. So that leaves an impression on the examiner that you have reviewed, reinstate your thesis statement, and you're also giving a suggestion for consideration. So this is a classic example of how you could conclude your essay. Now, moving on, now we have looked at the thesis statement, hook, body paragraphs, conclusion, and counter arguments. What could make your essay even better is start practicing on using different ways to start your sentences rather than I will, they can, he thinks. So you could start with what is often contentious issue is perhaps of greater importance to debate. This is okay. So remember to use short and long sentences to make the paragraph interesting. Okay, another icing on the cake should be using the right quotations, idioms, and proverbs. This shows the examiner that you are making an effort to remember them and using them appropriately. If you need that extra mark for your essay, you should start memorizing easy quotations, idioms, and proverbs as you go along. So once you're practicing your essay, start incorporating them so it will come easily to you at the point of time that you need it. Let's look at examples of quotes for topics on education. So you could see these are very easy quotes that you could use. Okay, now examples of idioms: bite the dust, that means be killed, defeated, ruined, or finished. A clean slate, a record of work or conduct that contains nothing to discredit a person. A hot potato, a matter that is considered too dangerous to tackle or become involved with. I know many of you will argue using more advanced vocabulary is tough, but it's not. Whenever you have an adjective that you are using, you could always improve on that. Using good grammar and making valid points to convince your reader is just half the battle won. The other half that determines how high a mark you get is the correct use of advanced vocabulary. Do not expect a high mark when you choose to use such as good when you could have used a more appropriate word such as beneficial or advantageous. So how do I increase my vocabulary in a short period of time? Read more essays, underline the words that they use, and then you may imitate them in your own essay. Get a book that gives you examples of advanced vocabulary. Let's look at some examples now. Here you could see some examples of how you could improve your vocabulary. I suggest that you just get a good assessment book specifically for vocabulary and work on it every weekend, and then get your phrase book and write down interesting vocabulary words that you could use to improve your essay. Backing up your arguments with solid evidence can help to boost your mark. In the run to your exams, compile a list of important statistics which you can find in the Straits Times, Channel News Asia, CNN, that you could use for future essays. Always revisit this list before your exams. Okay, now this is the essay outline that we have discussed in this video. So introduction, the hook, backgrounds, thesis statement. The thesis statement must have two parts: your claim and the reasons backing your argument. So the first paragraph, your topic sentence for A should be clear. Second paragraph, you can counter and then go on with another strong argument, and then you can conclude your essay. So this looks like a perfect essay. So all the elements that's needed that we have discussed in this video, you could start practicing right now. So now my little tip is first come up with the strong points for your essay. Research on the examples. Write the body paragraph first. As you work on those paragraphs, you will get inspiration on how to conclude your argument. You might even come up with a clinching statement first. Then you work on your introduction as you have thoroughly researched for the paper, and you can come up with a quote or a startling statistics which you can give with a rough background, and then you can work on your thesis statement. So how do you going to do that? You read more sample essays to get the hang of the tone and the structure. You can even copy the points and use it by adding in your own examples and statistics. This will give you more confidence in attempting to write any given essay. Okay, now we will end off this video with a recap of points. So here are the ways that you could start improving your essay right now. Each pointer is something that you can't improve overnight, and I do understand that, but you can start having this as a checklist and work on each essay every week. And please get your tutor or your teacher to check on the checklist and mark and give feedback on how you can improve even further. And as time goes by, these pointers will come to you automatically, and you'll definitely score A1 for your essay or your paper 1, of course. Just start now and see the difference in your grades. Before you hand in your essay, ask yourself, have you done enough? If you find the video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, like and share it with your friends. Thank you so much. I'll meet you all in the next video. Bye for now.